Hi, I'm Ronnie Wiley, and welcome to another edition of On the Spot. No, it's not the Spartan Sports Report, even though we have Andrea Van Meter, the athletic director of Connersville Sports, or Connersville High School, I should say, or sports, whatever.
Sports, high school, everything.
Yeah, I prefer to call it the director of athletics because I think that sounds more prestigious.
It does sound more prestigious.
But AD has that.
And it's shorter.
Sounds like
it's easier to write. I write the word athletics like 100 times a day or type it. So it's kind of shorter to say 80.
Yeah, 80. Yeah, you're the 80.
Yeah.
So before we get to you being the 80, because you're a Connersville girl.
I am.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
So let's talk about that. So you come from an athletic family?
No.
No, okay,
not
very
really.
Short answer.
No, not really.
Supposed to answer these open-ended questions.
Okay, so we're done, right? No. So my sisters both played basketball. One of them quit after 6th grade.
Yeah.
The other one, I think, played through middle school. And then Coach Robbins was the high school coach when they were in school.
Right.
And they were both kind of scared. Yeah, they were older, so I'm the baby of the family. So they kind of quit after that, got into boys, got into working, and just kind of stopped. Now, on my mom's side of the family, all of my cousins are 6'5", 6'8", football players. One of them played at Iowa.
Are they from Connersville too?
They're not. They're Wisconsin kids.
Oh, Wisconsin kids.
Yeah. So my mom is a one of 10. So and has a twin brother.
Oh, wow.
So his kids are very tall and athletic. So
you get that height from your mom's side of the family.
I do. My dad's side was. Well, my grandpas were really tall on both sides of the family. And I had a cousin. I had one cousin here in town, but he was more like band kiddo. So not really.
You didn't pick on him, did you?
I did not.
You did not.
He was taller than I was, so I didn't really do that. But
So you had some height in your family, and obviously I'm sure you probably growing up heard you got to play basketball.
Yeah, and I think at the time that was just kind of what you did here in town.
Well,
I mean, everyone played basketball, and I didn't know a whole lot about the 72 and 83 team, because I wasn't born in 72 and I was little in 83. Right. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everyone. But I didn't really grow up hearing that, but it was just something about basketball in the state of Indiana, and that was just kind of. You wanted to play basketball, or you wanted to go to Indiana or Purdue, or you wanted to play at Notre Dame. And so I didn't want to do any of those, but I enjoyed basketball. And that's what we played at recess, and that's what we played at the Boys and Girls Club and at St. Gabriel's, the old gym in St. Gabriel's, and that was just kind of what we did.
So when you were a kid and your sisters were older, obviously playing ball with them.
No, they didn't play with them. No, they didn't like me. So we didn't do a whole lot of stuff.
That's terrible.
No, they didn't really. They weren't like me. They didn't just go hang out with friends and play sports.
They weren't like you. I thought you said they didn't like you.
Well, they probably don't like me either, but that's okay.
That's terrible.
Because I was the kid that did everything, and so
you were the Marsha.
Yeah, I'm kind of the Marsha.
Wow. The young one.
But I was active. So, I mean, my parents were okay. They drove me around, and they knew that that's what I wanted to do. So they were okay with that. My sisters had no desire. But no, they would not go down the street and pick up basketball with the boys. That was me. Yeah, or they wouldn't go down to the grass lot and play kickball and wiffle ball and whatever we played, football, to the wee hours. Wow. They didn't do that. They just stayed home, and I would say on their phone, but back then it was more of like just in their bedrooms, right? Just talking on a phone. Pulling the cord to their bedroom, talking to their boyfriends.
That's what we did back then.
Yeah, that's what we did. But no, they didn't. I don't think I ever played basketball with my siblings. Now, if we had like a family reunion, we would play kickball or yard darts or something like that. But nothing. Nothing athletic. I mean, never, nothing like that. So, kind of strange. It's kind of by myself.
So you developed the love for it by yourself and with your friends that you in the neighborhood. What part of Connersville did you grow up in?
I was right across the street. Well, my mom still lives there. Right across the street from Dairy Queen and the old Kmart.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the new hospital.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah.
Lived there my whole life. Mom still lives there. But I was kind of like the hub. Yeah. Where I was at, I could walk to the park, and I walked to the park almost every single day during the summer. And then Shayna was my best friend. She moved to Grandview in 4th grade, and so from that time on, we've been best friends. And
you guys played ball together.
We would meet at the park, and we would play ball at the park, and we'd play pickup games with the boys. And then I had some other friends that lived over on Grand Avenue, and so they would walk over the park, and we played volleyball. So we played pickup volleyball, and then we played pickup basketball. And so, I mean, we didn't have anything else to do. We rode our bikes around town and met each other, and we played either at the park or at Grandview, and that's kind of what we did.
So we had a normal, typical, fun childhood.
Yeah,
it sounded like.
Be home before the street lights come on.
Absolutely. You had to be home.
Didn't have to worry about people taking us or people harassing us, and
those street lights, they were the law.
That was the law when you were a kid. When the street lights came on, you better be home. But I mean, our parents understood that we weren't being dumb. We were probably playing sports. We were staying active.
Came home filthy, sweaty.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you beat the boys, or did you have to let them win? So
I don't know that we actually ever played in basketball. I don't think we ever played like an actual 3-on-3. It was more of just let's just go shoot or playing like horse or pig or something like that.
Got to dot the I.
Yeah, you got
pig.
You do.
Dot that I. You got to play pig with dot the I.
Yeah, or let's play longer words so we have more opportunities. But it was more with volleyball. We would just play, and we played with older people. So like Dennis Ellis would be at the park, and Homer Isaacs still lived in town. Him and Jennifer. Bobby Reveille, which is kind of funny because he works at the high school now. We would just meet them over there, and we would play until the lights came on at the park, and people would bring snacks, and we would just play.
You guys should just do a reunion. Let's meet together. And let's play.
I think somebody would bring something.
The next
I know.
Day.
I think somebody would be bringing something. But it was kind of fun growing up in town. There was a lot of. there was a lot of other stuff to do. We could have went to the movie theater. We could have went to the putt-putt. We used to have putt-putt here in town, and we just chose to go to the park. And we had to meet at a certain time because we didn't have cell phones. So it was like, hey, we're all going to be at the park at 6 o'clock. So you left school, we're meeting at 6 o'clock, and that's where you would be. So
when you were growing up playing ball in the park, did you think one day that, hey, did you and Shanna set, because I asked Shanna one time on the sports report, did you ever dream of being the Spartan coach? She said, absolutely not.
Yeah, I know.
And before we get to your athletic thing, because I'm sure that probably wasn't in your mind back then when you were a kid, did you ever think, man, I'm going to be a Spartan basketball player someday when you were playing? Was that a goal?
I don't know if it really, yes and no. Because Coach Robbins is who we had our first 2 years. She came to a lot of things. More so when we were in elementary. I think I remember seeing her and talking to her, but we went to her camps and we kind of fell in love with it. I don't know that the bowl was oh my gosh, I get to play in the bowl. Right. It was just kind of a place that we always had camps, but we had camps at the high school because when I first started high school, our practices were at the old gym at the high school. I can't even remember. We did not, my teams did not play at the high school. We practiced at the high school, but we played at the bowl because we practiced after school. Right. But I don't remember ever playing a home basketball game in the old gym. I think by the time we were there,
you guys all
our crowds were too big that we had to go to the bowl. Yeah. But I feel like a couple years before that, they were still playing games in the high school gym. Girls basketball was there. But no, I don't know. I guess I just never, I always thought I would just play. I didn't think I would start probably until, 7th and 8th grade, and then playing AAU basketball and just working hard and wanting it. Yeah. And at that point it was kind of one of those things where you played, you made the team, and then you had to fight to keep that spot. Right. Because you had a lot of people that wanted that spot. Yeah.
And then Miller took over
He took over our junior year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
big transition?
The junior year, not so much. He just kind of let us do what we were doing. Yeah. Just kind of threw some things in there.
He was on her staff, wasn't he?
He was not. He was on the boys' staff. Okay, so he had coached the boys for quite a while. Yeah. And so it was a bigger transition, I think, for him than us because he had never coached girls before. Right, yeah. And so, trying to give us high fives and, tap you on the back, and he'd be like, oh, am I allowed to do that? And we're like, yeah, it's fine. We get that. Yeah. But I think it was different for him. Right. I still miss Coach Robbins. I think if she would have stayed at least another year or two, it would have been a little different. And not to say that he wasn't a great person at all. He was great, and he was a great coach. I think it was just that transition. You started with her. And the team, and we started with her. Yeah. It was tough. It was definitely tough, and it was hard for us to kind of get over her leaving because I don't think she left on her own terms. I think she was pushed out.
Yeah.
Not through athletics, but
Yeah.
outside people. And so that was hard. And we were kind of mad about that.
And did you guys know that? I mean,
No.
as player, you didn't know. But
didn't know
back,
that until now. And then we've had
as
some
you're older.
conversations in the past couple of years with her and realized all the stuff that she had went through, death threats and.
Wow.
I mean, no high school coach should ever have to do that.
And
not a successful one.
No, I agree with that 100%. I mean, it's just high school athletics. And I understand the desire to win,
Sure.
but when you...
And we were winning. That's the thing.
Right,
we were winning.
Yeah,
we were undefeated or one loss and 2 losses total with the state tournament and getting death threats and things thrown at you. That's to me is, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and now you're on the other side as the AD.
Sure.
I'm sure you see all kinds of craziness that you probably
block from my coaches.
You probably have to.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that happens that I absorb that I don't even tell the coaches because you don't want them to have to deal with that. Right,
and they shouldn't. I mean, you can have a disagreement with somebody.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You're allowed to have a disagreement. There's totally okay. But to wish death on somebody is absolutely unacceptable.
That's to me that was.
You could think
I never knew that, and I've never heard that with anybody against any of the coaches that we have. So please don't think that that's happened.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we absorb, that we see, we hear, is told to us, is yelled to us, that we take it in and say, thank you for your opinion. Yeah. Everyone has an opinion. Yeah. We appreciate that, but then we just kind of let that fizzle because. I mean, if you're a coach and you're trying to work hard to make the kids better, you don't need that. Right. And I know as a coach, I was hoping that my ADs, if they had things or parents had things that weren't man enough to tell me, I'm hoping that if they told my AD, they just kind of choked it down and swallowed it.
Right, because you don't want to be micromanaged.
Absolutely.
Especially as a coach, because you get too much other stuff to do with, But, I mean, there's coaches that I've had disagreements with. Oh, they're terrible, but I would never want somebody lose their life or anything like that. And you can separate, at least I can separate, well, they're a good person.
Sure.
I just don't like their coaching style.
Yeah, their philosophy may not be what I like, or I don't agree with that.
I don't jive with their, and that's okay
and that's what's hard with change. I mean, if you think about it, we had the same coach from the whole time we were in elementary. Like we looked forward to playing for her, and then it changed after our sophomore year. It abruptly changed, and so it's like, why does it have to happen with us? And then you have to reprove yourself to the new coach. And but it's a fresh start. So for those younger kids who that's the first coach they have, they get to prove themselves. So then it's even harder. And I think that's kind of where it's at, is always when you play for somebody new, and there's always going to be somebody that's playing for somebody new. It's tough. And understanding their system and their philosophy. And I think that's what our biggest downfall was when I played, was that our junior and senior year, we could have been successful, but I think it was just the change that happened when we came in that kind of threw us off a little bit. But I mean, after the year after, they won the first round of semi-state and came close in the semi-state finals, right? So, I mean, they figured it out, but they were a group that it was new for them, right? And it was, so it's okay.
I know, I tell you, you look at tough losses even today and probably think, oh, geez, that still hurts you. There's some in there. There's still some, I'm not going to say hatred, but there's still some rough feelings with some teams. And, they're adults and they're great people, but there's still some people that when you hear their name, you just cringe because they took that away from you, right? I know.
So
the Moose Lodge. I played for the Lions Club over there in West Carrollton, Ohio. We were undefeated. They were undefeated, and Pee Wee football.
Shoot.
we didn't get scored on. They didn't get scored on, and they shut us out.
Yeah.
That still bothers me. I was in sixth grade.
I get that. Yeah. Jennifer
we were all
Marlowe.
crying.
Well, Jennifer Marlowe, I can't remember what her married name is, but she was the big player from Rushville, and we didn't block her out, and she rebounded her own shot and put it back up and beat us in the regional championship. And that was our sophomore year. No, our freshman year, because she was a senior. And it still hurts to walk into Greenfield Central because you still just feel that, right there is where it happened. And, Martinsville got inducted into the the silver team or inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. And that was a team that beat us, at the semi-state by a basket. Right? And they all walk across the stage, and I'm sitting in the audience thinking,
what could have been?
Yep, absolutely. So, I mean, you still have those.
Don't drive through Martinsville. Don't go through Greenfield Central. Jennifer, if you're watching.
No, I'm just kidding. No. She, again, tough player. We didn't block her out, and she
did what she was supposed to do.
Got her offensive rebound, and
it's fun because I still tease some of my friends from back then. We're like, gosh, that was in 6th grade, and I still want a rematch. But
absolutely. I don't think we could do that today.
No,
but
we'd all be hurt. We couldn't handle that.
It'd be bad.
Not at all.
Need your inhalers and lots of timeouts.
Absolutely. I don't think we'd ever finish the game. So now you're the athletic director. But before that, when you graduated high school, was being an AD on the radar? Was that something you wanted to do?
No.
You wanted to teach, correct?
Well, no. I wanted to be an athletic trainer.
Oh, trainer. Okay.
Yep. So I went to Butler and played volleyball. And
I took play basketball?
I didn't play basketball. I played volleyball. I got a full ride scholarship to play volleyball at Butler. I had a lot of basketball offers, but I didn't want to play. No, that's okay. Career. I didn't want to play basketball. I was kind of done. And so I thought I was better at volleyball. So I got a full ride scholarship to play volleyball at Butler. And I took an athletic training class my first year there, and I was sitting in the training room, icing something or getting something taped, and football players came in, because it's preseason for them, and they took their socks off.
Did it stink?
And I hate feet. I don't like feet. They disgust me. I can deal with most anything, but I can't deal with feet.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I decided, well, in athletic training, what do they spend most of their time dealing with?
Taping feet,
feet and ankles, and I can't do that. So my career path changed to elementary education. So did that, taught up in Indy for a couple of years and coached at Speedway. I coached volleyball and basketball there at Speedway. And then I was coaching camps at Butler because I liked volleyball, and so I worked camps for 10 years.
Was your best sport, correct?
Yeah, it was my best sport. Yeah, I'm not going to say it was my favorite sport, but it was a sport that I felt like I excelled at.
You excelled at? Yeah.
Had confidence in what I did.
Well, smashing that ball down, doing the kills. Yeah.
So I would go back and work camps. Well, I ended up meeting a lady who was a volleyball coach out at Missouri. And so she offered me an assistant coaching position, because they were doing a new thing where it was kind of like almost like a grad assistant, but not really a grad assistant. Yeah. And so at the time I wasn't married. I had no connections. My husband hadn't stepped on and said, hey, let's get married. So I'm like, let's go. So I moved out to Missouri, and I was an assistant at Northwest Missouri State, a Division II college out there.
So now did that force your soon-to-be husband
that December he proposed that December, and so I was like, great. But while I was out there, I got a lot of experience. They actually offered me the head coaching position because the coach that was there stepped down. But my dad passed away in September.
And what year was this?
This was in 05.
05, okay.
Yep. Okay. And so at that point, it was like, my husband had proposed, my dad passed away, I kind of need to move back home. So I came back home and got a job at Richmond, and I worked at Richmond for 10 years. I coached volleyball and basketball there until I had babies. I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know. It was tough. Richmond was tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the staff I worked with. I had a supportive administrative staff, just like I do here, and the kids were rough, and it was mentally draining because I didn't see the honors kids. I saw the rough of the rough.
Yeah.
But I transferred from Richmond to Hagerstown because we lived in Hagerstown, and so I went from driving every day to less than a mile.
Yeah. I bet that was awesome.
And I loved it there, and I mean, I would still be there if I wasn't here. Again, I had a great teaching schedule. I had a great admin. I coached middle school there. I didn't want to get back into high school, so I coached middle school volleyball there and elementary basketball there for quite a few years. And then we moved to Fayette County. We were looking for a farm, and so we moved to Fayette County. And
is your husband from here?
He's from Franklin County.
Oh, that's right. He's from Franklin County.
Yeah, he's a foreigner. He's a foreigner. Yeah. He's probably been here more than he's been there, but so we moved to Fayette County, and we were still commuting back and forth to Hagerstown. And then I had started working on my admin license. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I worked on my admin license, and I finished in April. And so the elementary principal job at Fayette Central came open. McCarty retired. Yeah. And so I applied for that, and I had interviewed, and they liked me, but they had found a different elementary principal. Yeah. And then, so I was like, I was happy where I was at. I was just kind of getting out and getting experience. They're like, well, we'll keep you in mind. Like, if anything comes up, well, then like 2 days later, both the principal and the AD at Connersville resigned. Resigned. And so I got a phone call. Penny Pfeiffer. Van Meter, what are you doing?
Oh,
why
Penny,
are you? She's like, why are you not applying? I'm like, what do you mean? And then she told me. I was like, oh, okay. So I applied for
girls.
Yeah, I applied for. She was actually my coach.
Was she your coach?
Yeah, she was my coach in high school for my freshman year. Yeah. I think she was my freshman coach, and then I had Trish Smith after that for my junior and senior. So. But yeah, so she called me and was like, you need to apply. I'm like, I don't want to be a high school principal. I don't want to be an AD. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Not at my home school. Like, why would you want to do that? Like,
have you AD'd before?
Never. No, I applied at Hagerstown, but they hired a person from there. Actually, Scott Snodgrass.
Snodgrass. Yeah,
so he and I.
Or no, he was a football coach.
Football and wrestling, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So yeah, he was been at Hagerstown. I worked with him, but he is the AD there.
Yeah.
So they hired him in, which was fine because I didn't have admin license. I had no clue. Yeah. But yeah, got hired here, and
the
rest is history. I've learned everything very quickly. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I don't know, but I do strive to try to do what I can do.
Is it everything that you expected it to be? Okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I think it's the supervision piece and having to be somewhere almost 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Home or away.
Yeah.
The constant phone calls, the text messages, because you got to make sure that your coaches are taken care of. And if something comes up, you want them to communicate and, whether they're on the road or not. So, I may not have a home event tonight, but I might have kids on the road. So, for example, last spring, our tennis team went to Franklin County for a tennis match or to East Central. And there's a tornado warning going through Franklin County, and our kids were on their way to Franklin County. Oh, so I'm on the phone with the assistant coach who is behind the coach on the minibus, following my orders that I'm getting from my communication from, the transportation. Like, what do you want them to do? Well, they need to pull over. Well, they went to a McDonald's, and they were hunkered down at McDonald's. Well, that's not very safe because Winchester, right? The Taco Bell.
Yeah, Taco Bell.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't want them in McDonald's. Yeah. So we had got them to the point where they said there was a window. I called the AD at Franklin County to see if we could get our kids to go to the high school to be safer. Well, by the time they got into the bus or to the bus, they're like, no, take them back. So I had them go back to McDonald's. So I'm on the phone again and come to find out the volleyball coach at Franklin County lived across the street, and all the girls and the coaches went into their basement.
Oh, wow.
And spent time there. So I didn't get off the phone until the last girl got home because they texted the coach and said they were all to text the coach and say they got home because there was trees down and everything. Right. And I think it was like 11:45 when the last kid got home. So again, it's not just scheduling events and that, it's making sure that kiddos are safe and coaches are safe. And so that was a piece that is tough, and people don't understand that.
And they can't teach that. They can't teach that in college.
No, they don't. You don't prepare. You think it's scheduling, and getting officials, and having workers,
and watching a game, man.
Yeah, well, game. How many games do you think I actually get to watch?
I know you don't watch. Yeah,
not many. Not many. It's like sometimes when we're doing the sports report and I'm watching it up on the screen, I'm like, ooh,
I never saw that.
I don't think I remember seeing that. Like, what happened? So,
especially at the bowl. I know you don't watch any.
I try.
Yeah.
I try. But you get torn with the cheer block being goofy, or, this person's yelling at my ticket people and I got to go take care of that. Or middle school kids are running around and I'm telling them to sit down. So, it's a lot. So when people approach you and the first thing they say to you is a complaint. Hi, how are you? Yeah. I'm great. Thank you. What can I help you with? Right. I'm not trying to be mean, but I probably dealt with 25 of those all day, and the first thing you do to me is
a complaint.
You have a complaint.
Yeah.
It's too cold in here.
Yeah.
Your popcorn's cold. Hot dog doesn't taste right. Okay. All right. Have you told anybody else? Like, did you go back to the concession and tell them? I'm sure they'll swap it out for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of that kind of stuff is hard. That's the hard part of the job.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's tiring.
Yeah.
I get like 3 weeks right now where there's not a lot going on.
So
there's still stuff going on.
Catch your breath.
But it's time to get ready for the words program.
Yeah.
So
a lot of work to do. And see, that's another thing you do that people don't recognize that you do.
Yeah.
That you put that together.
I have a fantastic administrative assistant, Katrina, who does all of the certificates, and she gets everything ordered and ready to go. I put the program together, and then we kind of type up what we were going to say. But she does a lot of that. So,
talking about the youth when we were kids and stuff, I'm sure, and your daughter's playing for the Spartans now, which is always fun to watch her because she looks just like you.
I know. I mean, I've heard that a few times.
I bet you have. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, we know who your mother is. And so I'm sure it's with Shanna there as well. And again, talking to her on the sports report that time, it was like she had never dreamed that she was going, even when she was coaching here.
Sure.
She said there was no way she was that she ever dreamed of it. And I know there's probably times where you think, do you ever think, I can't believe I'm the athletic director of Connersville?
I do, and I'm like, what am I doing now? I never thought I would come back. I thought when I graduated high school, I was done. I was never coming back to Connersville. I was never going to live in Connersville.
You were one of those people.
I was done. And I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't for a very, very long time. I would come home to see my mom. I would come home for family things, but to be honest, I think 20 years. I was away for at least 20, 22 years before I came to one basketball game after I graduated high school, and it was to watch Shayna's boy play, Caleb, watch him play his senior year. Yeah. We came and watched the Franklin County game, and we could barely find a seat, but I wanted the girls to see where I played. Yeah. But, I mean, I never came back for the Thanksgiving game.
Wow.
Too many people didn't want to talk to people. Like, I was done. Like, I'd put my time in here. I'd moved on. Never thought I would come back ever.
I bet Havlicek probably thought that too. He was gone for 30-something years.
Probably, yeah. He was gone probably longer than I was.
He was gone 30-something years, I think.
Yeah, never thought that I would ever come back here. And it's hard. I think it's hard because I'm from here. Yeah. Because I know all of the parents that have kids in sports now.
Yeah, because you probably
I was either friends with them or we went to high school together. And so that's probably the most challenging thing is that there's no separation between that and...
What you do.
Yeah. Between the text messages because they have my phone number or the Facebook messages because they know me because we're friends from there. That's what's the hard part is it never turns off.
And I imagine that has got to have advantages, but the disadvantages are probably outweigh some of the advantages.
I mean, it's nice because if I need something, I've got a lot of people that I know from here. A lot of ticket takers, a lot of people working events. I've got friends who are from here. But you're right. I mean, it could be 9:30 at night and I'm getting a text like, hey, are they going to take cash at the game tomorrow night? I'm like, what? It's 9:30 at night. Like, I'm in the office all day long. Yeah. Get a hold of me there or send me an email. Right. But so, I mean, sometimes that kind of, depending on the day I have. Right, some days I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But some days I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
So we all have those days. But I mean, the only day that I really, truly, and I can't really say I have an office Sunday, and that's very slim because of the other things that we have going on. So it's okay, though.
Yeah.
I get some time with my family.
I'm sure.
I get to see those people I live with every now and then.
Well, your husband's with you like almost every away game I've seen.
With the girls' games, yes. Well, he's not an athlete. So he's not an athlete. Athletics, he doesn't get that whole competition thing. So, but he does go to the girls' games, and he'll be with me on Sunday for the girls, and we have to divide and conquer because one's got AAU and one's playing out here. But he gets it. We don't have any similarities, so that's a good thing. Like, he likes to farm, and I like athletics, and I like to be at the farm, but he likes some things, and so it works.
It works perfectly. That wraps it up, Andrea. Believe it or not,
awesome.
It's been 30 minutes, so we'll catch you at the Spartan Sports Report, and we'll catch you next month on The Spot.